Hello and welcome to the King Street Cinema podcast. My name's Andy and I'm a cinema goer. I'm joined as ever by James.
Hi.
From King Street Cinema.
That's right, King Street Cinema.
How are you, James?
Yeah, pretty good, you know.
Good?
Yeah. Early mornings as always.
Warm enough for you?
Oh, yes. It's cooled down a little bit today, but it has been we've had a heat wave here.
Yeah. Yes. It's July.
Yes.
And we have movies to talk about that are showing at King Street Cinema in Ipswich throughout July.
That's what we're doing here today.
There we are indeed. Shall we kick off?
Yes.
With the first movie it's the first movie on this month, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about Sinners last time, didn't we? So there's one showing of that on the 3rd. So that's Thursday 3rd at 2:30. But after that, that'll be the last showing of that film. So after that will be the first film to start off in July. So Jane Austen, Wrecked My Life.
Yeah, which is a debut movie from the director.
That's right, yeah. French film.
Yeah.
Rated 15. Romantic comedy, I hear.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it, yes. Right.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I really enjoyed it.
Great.
And it was just one I went to see on a whim, really. It was just like, and I knew that you guys were getting it, and I thought we can talk about it.
Yeah. And
yeah, it's a French film in English as well. Part of it is set in England, and it's about a kind of wannabe writer who some of her work is sent by her best friend to this Jane Austen group, and she wins a trip to a sort of getaway, so you can go and write in the Jane Austen estate.
Yes.
But she has writer's block.
Oh no!
And meets a man over there who is a relative of
Jane Austen.
Austen. And I found it really funny.
Yeah.
I like the French humour, and it was well acted. Time flew by. It did remind me a bit of your sort of Richard Curtis type romantic comedy.
I was going to say, what kind of similar kind of comedy styling would you say it was?
Yeah, in a way, yes. But mixed with French humour, obviously, because it is French.
Yeah.
And I rated it higher than a lot of his work. Because I don't mind Richard Curtis.
Yeah.
But I personally think he peaked with Blackadder.
Well, indeed.
But yeah, this is like it's more your Notting Hill.
Yeah.
Than you say Love Actually, because there is a difference. In
Absolutely,
movies,
yeah.
Because that was like an ensembled one, Love Actually.
Absolutely. So we've got sort of it's the two leads, right? The forefronts. They've got male, female meet each other at this what should we call it? A resort or a retreat or something?
It's a retreat. Yeah.
And romance blossoms. Shall we say?
Eventually.
Yes, it's one of those.
But she's also battling with. She doesn't know if she's got strong feelings for her best friend or not. She's got a male best friend. So.
It's a sort of love triangle.
In a way, yeah, but not your so obvious love triangle. Yeah. I thought this was a very good romantic comedy and one of the best I've seen in years. I haven't seen that many.
Sure. Because there aren't generally that many these days, are there, if you think about it? They're considering that the romantic comedy used to be a typical staple of Hollywood movies, and they used to do very well. They were always a big hit throughout the 80s and 90s for certain. Yeah. But these days, not so much.
No, you get the odd one, but not many. The last one I can think of was the one with Sydney Sweeney in. Do you know what I mean? It done really well.
I know who Sydney Sweeney is, but I can't think of what the film was.
It was huge. And they actually re-released it. It came out like the end of one year, and then it got re-released for Valentine's Day with extra stuff in it. But the name escapes me.
But this is the thing. I'm sure they make them probably fairly regularly, probably as regularly as they were. But they're probably just not as popular as they were.
Not as popular, and probably not the cinema draw.
Yeah.
So a lot of them will be made for your stream.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't get the kind of exposure in the same kind of way the old ones do.
So this is good to see, I think. It's refreshing. And this movie is clearly influenced by those 90s movies.
Right.
And it reminded me a bit of Fleabag. As well, yeah. And you showed the play or the stage show, that was based on, and I think it's got those elements so that the older audience, ourselves now, who grew up with these 90s ones, will like it. But it's got the modern twist as well, the modern humour, and like Fleabag, it's got that side to it as well.
Yeah.
So quite appealing to all audiences. It's a 15 certificate.
It is.
But nothing too
sweary, is it? A little sweary.
Bit sweary. There's nudity in it.
Oh, okay. That might be what pushes it to 15.
Yeah, but it's not all sexual nudity. So,
sure.
But it's. No, you got to remember, Four Weddings and Funeral, Love Actually, Notting Hill.
Oh yeah, they're all 15. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's no worse than that.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing I was expecting.
Yeah, there's less swearing in it than Four Weddings.
Right. Well, there's a lot of swearing in Four Weddings.
Yeah. There is. That was.
The joke is the swearing.
Yeah. So I was about to say they used it to replace jokes.
Yeah.
And the lead, the British lead, has got that Hugh Grant charm.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, I really this should be a draw then. I think a lot of people should be coming out for this one.
I'm looking at the times. I might actually see it again.
So Friday the 4th, 7:30. Saturday got a matinee at 2:30 and evening 7:30, and then on the 10th, Thursday 10th, matinee 2:30.
Yeah, I just mentioned it's Charlie Anson as the male lead, who I've seen before.
Yes.
He was in Death of the Nile.
Yes.
And, apparently he was in the Tarzan movie from a few years ago.
Oh.
And the actual lead is Camille Rutherford, who I have seen before. She was in Anatomy of the Fall, which you showed a while ago. And
indeed, yes, she was.
She was in that, yeah.
That was a great film.
Yeah, and Blue is the Warmest Colour, which was big.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's a big French name then.
Yeah,
in French films.
One of my favourite films of last year, The Three Musketeers, Milady as well. She was in that.
Right.
So she's done a lot, big star.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a big French star. If you're into French movies, you definitely got to come see this one. Surely.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Last Journey.
So the week following, from the 11th, is a Swedish documentary. So it looks quite warm-hearted, this one. So it seems to be about aging fella who they go on a road trip. His son and best friend take his father on a road trip to Paris, I believe. I think
sticking with the French theme.
So sticking with the French theme, indeed. So the directors of the film, Philip Hammer, and Frederick Wilkinson. They are a writing duo, I believe, in Sweden. Very big. Not big, I think, not sure internationally big, but in Sweden anyway. So it's interesting that they've made a movie, a documentary, starring themselves and Philip's father, Lars. So quite a nice idea, I think.
So it's different, doesn't it?
It's, it's like I say, a road trip documentary. Yeah.
I'm glad you straightened out, because the last movie I saw of you, I can't remember what it was, the trailer came on, and the person I was with, I was trying to explain that it is a documentary.
Yeah, but it doesn't look so. No, it doesn't, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, it looks different. It looks quite funny, I imagine. Heartwarming.
Yeah, I get the impression that the two writers, the directors of the film, are funny guys. Yeah, and I get the feeling that probably everybody in it is got a bit of a joke to them, Yeah. So again, more comedy, I'd say. So.
Well, who was there was a British Jack Whitehall used to do stuff with his dad.
That's right.
Like that?
Yeah. Oh well, maybe like that. I'd never seen any of that stuff, but that was television, then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A TV show where they'd go around and look at things.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, and his dad would be like, "Oh, that new thing."
Yeah.
But this is critically acclaimed as well. This
right,
getting really good reviews around the board. Excellent. And one I'm hoping to get to see.
Yeah, so again, 11th, so Friday, 11th, 7:30, Saturday, 12th, 2:30 and 7:30, and then Thursday, 17th at 2:30, which is mostly what we're doing this month and going forward, is having 4 showings a week. Friday evening, Saturday afternoon and evening, and then a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So that's one to get to. If you're listening to this today, it comes out in a week or so. And then after that, we got a big film. This is the long-awaited 28 years later. We haven't been waiting quite 28 years.
Almost, but not quite. From the first film, what was that, 2004 was it, or 2002? Something like that.
Yeah, it was early 2000s.
So 20-something years, 22, 23 years. And so then, close to 20.
Was it 2007? There was 28 weeks later. A few.
Feels right. That feels right. Yeah.
which was a different director and writer.
Yeah.
But this one is back to the original. Danny Boyle
Danny Boyle
as the director, and Alex Garland returns to write it, who's gone on to a massive career himself.
As a writer-director,
yeah. And this is much anticipated. It's got a stellar cast.
Yeah.
I always forget her name. British actress who has done a lot of TV work. Jodie Comer. She is.
Yes.
Is getting there. American actor Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's been in a lot of the Marvel movies. He was in Kick-Ass, wasn't he?
He was.
And Godzilla and stuff. And Ralph Fiennes.
I was going to say Ralph Fiennes. Big name. Sure you've heard of him.
Yeah, and this movie picks up, as the title suggests, 28 years
so
after the events of the original.
Impression we get is people living on an island, separated from the rest of the world now, so obviously living in seclusion, but probably in a fairly safe seclusion. Have to go to the mainland to get supplies or provisions, and we get to see what has become of the world 28 years on.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the original, do we use the word zombie?
No, I think infected.
Infected.
Yeah.
But it basically...
Yeah, so a rage virus was created in a lab. Yeah. It was released by activists who were trying to free some chimps who were infected with the virus. Yeah. And by doing so, the world became plagued with the virus.
Yeah. And this movie is extremely well made.
Yeah.
Dark, but with a lot of humour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought so. Dark humour, but as well as being there's some quite disturbing scenes in it as well. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not huge on the original. I appreciate it. I think it's okay. I really enjoyed this.
There we go.
I think it's more. I think the first one, it is a classic, but it's more well known because it was different for that sort of film.
Absolutely.
And now the world's been built, they can go and do things. So personally, I prefer this. I rarely say that about a franchise. I usually like most people, I usually like the first one.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the second one quite a bit as well. I hadn't watched that till recently. I went back and watched it before this, so it would make sense. And this is doing the business.
Yeah.
And it's already made more money than the original.
Well, there we go. So it's clearly popular with audiences then, and not just critics. Yeah. Because critically, it's doing well as well, is it not?
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those that there's stuff in it that I want to talk to you about with people who've seen it. So you've all got to go and see it so we can talk about it.
Sure.
Stuff happens.
Because I haven't seen it either, so quite looking forward to it myself. Remember the original very well. Remember liking it a hell of a lot when it came out. But it was definitely of its time, made in a way using technology that was much more accessible for your average filmmaker at the time. So looking at it then, you were like, wow, that's really cool. That big name filmmakers and people are using equipment, technology, cameras, which much more low key to tell a story that is for a mainstream cinema going audience. Nowadays you look at that and it's not as great, is it? No. You look at it and you think, for me, I think it almost in a way kind of feels a bit gimmicky. Yeah. Not to say that the original story I didn't like. I do. I really like it, and I think it changed that kind of horror movie forever, for good or for bad, however you feel. I always loved the idea, and still do, that these aren't zombies, right? These are not Night of the Living Dead creatures, right? That's a completely different thing and should be thought of as such. And when people start to make zombies into running, angry things like they have done because of 28 Days Later, that's a shame. Yeah. Because the zombie should always remain as it is, slow moving, starts to get more in a frenzy as the herd get bigger and they smell blood and all that, but not running and full of aggression and things like that. So I always liked that about it. I like that it changed things up. It gave new ideas. It's like, it is almost like a new type of horror film and horror story, which is cool. Yeah. So
you got to think as well, when this came out, we'd had the director Danny Boyle had two really well received British movies.
Absolutely.
Shallow Grave and Trainspotting. Then went to Hollywood and didn't get the acclaim and didn't have the hits that we expected. I remember Life Less Ordinary coming out, and that was really pushed and didn't do very well. I think he might have done another one.
But I think Life Less Ordinary is too strange of a film.
Yeah, but it was pushed commercially.
Oh, absolutely.
They were trying
trying
to sell it in a kind of Tarantino.
Completely. Yeah.
And that didn't work. Even though I thought it was okay, but it didn't work. And then he came back to Britain and sort of almost like downscaled, then made this hugely successful and influential, as you said, movie.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Obviously, must have happened. So they were like probably very despondent about the way things had gone the last couple of movies, and were like, right, we've got to do something radical here.
Yeah, right? And it worked.
And it did work. Yeah. Absolutely.
And groundbreaking film. And this is a very worthy sequel, as I say. And
the trailer looks good. I would say that. I've seen the trailer a couple of times. I think it looks good. Really solid stuff.
And there's already a follow-up planned.
Yeah.
Different director. I forget her name. But we done a podcast for Beyond Graves and Stars on Candyman. Yeah. And it's the person who directed the remake who also done the Marvels. Yeah. And I think it's a good director. But it seems to only, I said it on the podcast, but it only seems to work with other people's franchises.
So far, yeah.
So, but I'm very excited for the next one now.
I mean, that's the thing. I think upcoming filmmakers, it seems, at least in Hollywood, that's how you start your career almost now, right? You're making already established franchise, stuff that's already there.
It's like they make a small film that's recognised and then given an assignment.
Yeah.
And the director of that Fantastic Four movie about 10 years ago done a little independent movie and was given that and it bombed.
Yeah.
It kind of ruined their career. Sometimes you've got to do the studio thing, haven't you? I suppose.
Yeah, well, that's I think that's, if you're wanting to get a name for yourself these days, it seems like that's the route that to go down, for better or worse, again, however you may feel about that.
Yeah.
But but that doesn't mean that she won't at some point get to make her own movie, written her own story, whatever. So I'm sure that'll happen.
That's the thing, but
like the guy who did Sinners, right?
Exactly, yeah. But maybe not all directors have the stories. They just want to direct.
Sure, that's it. I mean, you work for the studio, whatever it is they want you to make, you make. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, for anyone who liked the first one, you've got to see it. And as I say, I wasn't huge on the first one, but it's something I appreciate, and I can rewatch it. So I think if you like the look of this movie, because there are grim moments, there's violence. It's not going to appeal to everybody.
No.
But if you like this sort of movie, it's definitely a winner.
And it's Danny Boyle. I mean, Danny Boyle is a British name, right? He's probably got to be right, top 5, if not more higher than that, British film directors living today.
Yeah, definitely of the last 25 to 30 years. Absolutely. More than that now,
we'll say Trainspotting, certainly for 95.
Biggest British director in the last 35 years, I'd say, easily. Yeah. So, and he's back, and I'm a fan of Alex Garland as well. I think I like all of his work that I've seen.
Yeah.
And a great writer as well. He wrote Dredd.
He did. He was one of the writers on Dredd, wasn't he? Yeah. Did he direct that one? Is that the first one? No.
The first one he directed was it Men? The first? No, he done X. I was getting the name wrong. The robot one, Ex Machina. That's the one. Yeah. That.
Right. Yeah, that was his first direction. Okay. Yeah. And then he did what is it? Well, that one you mentioned just now, which I'm forgetting. Men and Civil War.
Civil War, and co-directed Warfare. I believe we spoke about recently.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there was another one with Natalie Portman.
Oh, that was for streaming. It was
Elimination.
Elimination.
Yeah, is that right? That sounds right. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right. We digress.
We do very much so. So that's 18th. Friday 18th, 7:30, Saturday 19th, 2:30, 7:30, and the 20th on a Thursday at 2:30. That is a 15 certificate for that one. So
For now, I predict when that comes out to watch from home, I think that'll be an 18.
Okay, lots of bloody violence.
Lots of bloody violence and other things I won't mention.
Okay. Moving on. Then to the final week of July.
Yeah.
We're back with Soul Path.
Back by popular demand.
Indeed. I mean, it goes without saying, I'd say. One of the biggest, the biggest film that we've shown. Well, in fact, the two of them, so Conclave and Saltpath, both got the same, exactly on the nose numbers for attendance. So the highest attendance this year so far has been those two movies. Yeah. So backed by popular demand indeed.
Yeah. I was going to say as well, I went to see The Ballad of
Wallace Island, which again is up there, second, definitely just behind.
That was really good because it was one of the busiest I've seen it recently.
Yeah.
And for a movie that I really wanted to see, but I didn't realise it had that mass appeal.
Indeed.
It was good
absolutely. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at just how well it did. I was thinking this should do well. But yes, as well as it had done for as many days as well. And again, that will also be making a comeback, I think, in August.
Yeah, yes. So that's almost done the old school sleeper hit word of mouth, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And
so for its last showing, right? So just saying that for its last showing, because it wasn't the one that you were at, and the one you were at did really well. The last showing though was the highest attendance, right? Yeah. That was the highest attendance we had. So. Brilliant. I mean, that just shows you that there's still want for it. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
and you've got a one-off screening on the 26th of July.
Yes,
Saturday at 7:00.
Which is that's in the same week that Saltpath comes back. Okay,
yeah.
The Saltpath is back from Friday 25th and show on the 26th and on the 31st on a Thursday. And as you say, we have a one-off screening on the 26th, Saturday 26th, 7:30 of 40th anniversary for Ran, Kira Kurosawa's film. Brilliant, just fantastic. I don't know what I mean. I could go on and on about this film, but we want to not have this go into a crarazy thing where I'm just talking. But
the podcast is longer than the actual movie.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a long movie, so yes, needing to be, because it's an epic story. It's based on the Shakespeare play King Lear. If you know that play, you'll basically know the kind of the themes and what's going on in the film. So a warlord is at a very old age. He has 3 sons. They're all very much geared towards wanting to be, the successor. And he makes a decision that he's going to split up his kingdom into 3. So they all get a piece of the pie, as it were. But of course, this doesn't sit well with any of them. And war commences. And in King Lear fashion, we see the warlord lose it, shall we say, mentally, and kind of goes off on a tangent. And we have some epic, wonderful scenes of not just landscape and battles and things, but also internal struggle of decision making and what it all means to be in charge, and family, these kind of things of what should I say, betrayal. It's got loads of stuff.
Is it a big Game of Thrones?
It is very much that, but yeah, and I love Game of Thrones, but it's that, but much more poetic, I'd say.
Probably a big influence on it.
Yeah, I would have thought.
King Lear, obviously.
Oh, yeah, certainly, without question. But yeah, it's and it's so colourful as well. I'd say the palette is beautiful. It just looks amazing. So this is a 40th anniversary. It's going to have 4K. We showed it for 10 years ago for the 30th anniversary. Did extremely well. Just again, one-off showing. Lots of people in the cinema. So I'm hoping for the same thing again this time.
Yeah.
This is one of my big Kurosawa fan. This is I have 2 that I generally say are my favourites, and this is one of them.
What's the other one?
The other one is Rashomon, which we've also shown.
Yeah, not long ago. I was
not long ago. I feel like maybe a year and a half, 2 years at the most ago.
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, so this wonderful, absolutely beautiful, wonderful film.
And 40 years old, and one for the big screen, because you saw the way it looks.
Completely. Yeah,
and it's not that often you get to see a 40-year-old film back on the big screen.
True.
So yeah, this was one that about 6 months ago I saw it was showing when I was in London. I've said this before about films, I never got to see it.
Yeah.
And then you've got it.
Yeah.
You've got it. So
well, we were definitely going to do this.
I'm going to be booking my tickets soon, and you can do with all these. You can book through the website, which I recommend, and you can get your favourite seats. And
I'm just going to look at this quickly. Yeah, and we've got it down as a 15 certificate, which I think it's fine, I guess, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it as like a 12A, maybe like for the 10-year anniversary, but I could be completely wrong about that.
But it could be that in that 10 years things have changed. Sometimes films don't just go down; they do go back up.
Sure.
Because of
I'm just my mind is thinking 12A. Maybe the DVD release got the 12A or so. I'm not sure.
I'm sure whenever
have
I've
you seen it?
It's 15.
Maybe I'm just completely making that up. Then maybe that's just my mind just making.
Rashomon 12 now.
Oh yeah. Well, I couldn't imagine that was anything other than either a PG and then maybe gone to a 12. It certainly would never have been a 15. I wouldn't have thought. This one, there's a lot more violence in it. Obviously, there's a lot of battle scenes. It's not excessive, or as far as the violence goes. But there is a fair amount of it, I guess. And it's an extremely intense film, I'd say. It keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah,
all the way through. So yeah.
Cool. So that's at 7:00. So it's slightly early because it's a longer film.
Oh yes.
Yes, it's at 7 p.m.
That's right.
Saturday, so it should be cool. And you've got on the Wednesday after this.
Also on the 30th, Wednesday 30th, 7:30, we have a
7.
Oh, 7. No, you're right. Absolutely. Sorry. Yes, I have it written down here as 7. Why am I? So it's because most of our films are on at 7:30, so it just becomes a kind of.
We're recording this in the morning, and.
Indeed, yeah. But it's just silly, isn't it? I'm looking right at my notes right here, and it says 7:00, and yet my brain tells me to say 7:30. Ridiculous. Anyway, so animated projects. We have 15 shorts, all different animated films from international filmmakers.
Yeah.
From many parts of the world. Looks and sounds great if you're into animation. How could you not come to this?
Exactly.
Seriously, if you're living in the Ipswich area, and you're really into animation, you just can't. You couldn't miss this kind of thing. I mean, this is completely what you've got to be going to. You're not going to be seeing this thing anywhere else in the area. This is the kind of thing that you generally would get in sort of cities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And there's a Q&A as well.
There is a Q&A with Osbert Parker, who is also a filmmaker, and I'm not sure if that he made a film with Laurie Hill, who's not going to be there, but I think one of their movies, High Street Repeat, might be one of the 15.
Okay, that was BAFTA nominated.
Yes, BAFTA nominated. Yeah.
Oh, so this is on 7 p.m. Wednesday, the 30th of July. That's my brother's birthday, and I'm coming to this. Okay. I'll see him at Christmas. It's fine.
Well, you could bring him to this. Why wouldn't
I? Could do.
I'm sorry if I cat amongst the pigeons.
I'll invite him as part of his gift.
There we go.
That's a good idea, actually.
Well, I wasn't meaning that as a joke. I was being serious. Yeah.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, give him a ring.
He will be in London though.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe not.
Yeah, we can catch me going to London for family event. Only cinema.
Only cinema. Yeah.
So that's the last film of the month. But in August, should we just quickly mention what's come up in August?
So we'll
just run through. We'll do a podcast in August, obviously.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking forward to is Hot Milk.
So I've seen Hot Milk. It's great. It's fantastic. I've been watching quite a few films recently, screeners and whatever. We get sent by distributors and stuff. And a lot of the films I've been seeing, I haven't been thinking would do too well at our cinema. But this one, I think is great. I think it's fantastic. It's really nice. See, this is the time of year where new movies that come out that aren't blockbuster films generally aren't so great, sadly. It's a really difficult time for cinemas, the summer period. So to see a film like this coming out at this point is wonderful.
Yeah. And it stars Emma Mackey, who was really good in the film I saw at your cinema, Emily, 2 years ago that was.
Yeah.
And it was also in Barbie. But yeah, we'll talk about that in the next episode. You've seen it. I'll wait then and I'll watch it with you guys. Yeah. And then you can tell me about it in the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've also got some reissues or old films that we show. So Amadeus has got a reissue, the 1984. I'm pretty sure it came out.
That was the one that you seemed quite riled at me because I'd never seen it.
Well, it is a classic, and I think so it was certainly for my age and our age because we're basically the same age. It was certainly one of those movies that came up a lot in academia when you were studying either film or media and stuff, this one would come up.
Yeah.
There's also the makeup as well is extremely impressive for the time. And that was another thing that if you were interested in makeup, as I was when I was a lot younger, that it was something that was talked about a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, music, being a huge music fan, and Mozart is amazing. And again, so yeah, it's just got loads of elements to it that I'm just surprised that that people haven't. It is an absolute classic. It's not, it's historically not, necessarily accurate. A lot of the people who are really super into Mozart and into the truth behind his life and stuff, perhaps don't particularly find the film. You know what I mean. So the film isn't something you should take as gospel as being how it was.
Yeah.
But
it takes artistic license.
Let's say. But it's great. It is great. It's great fun. It's a great ride. It's again very thrilling and intense.
Who is the guy who plays Mozart?
It's Tom Hanks, who hadn't done a lot. I mean, there is a movie that we both love that he was in. Animal House.
Yeah, and Parenthood. And that's why when I was younger, because I did, I'm 43.
But he's like a proper actor, right? He's like a thespian actor, done most stuff on stage, and a few films that he has done, some of them are kind of,
But as a kid, I liked Animal House, and I still really like Parenthood. I think it's a great comedy drama.
It is.
And that's why seeing this when I was younger, I was like, it's that guy from those comedies.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's an actor, indeed.
Yeah. Like I say, he's a proper actor.
So that's quickly going. Well, is there another older film?
Paris, Texas. We're going to show again because we had showed it a couple of years ago. So it's like nice to have that back as well. Again, absolutely love that film, Wim Wenders. And Flow, which is not an old film, of course, but came out. Was it last year, Flo? I want to say.
I think it was this year.
Or this year, earlier this year. This year seems really long to me, but I think earlier this year, animated movie about a cat, isn't it? Good fun. Yeah. Non-speaking.
Yeah.
So you just gotta watch the cat maneuver around the world, kind of thing. It's pretty fun. Was it made on computer, isn't it? Yeah, it's a computer animated film, but all using, I think, free software. I believe. Yeah.
So keep checking the website. Follow on Facebook and Instagram for updates, because I think there might be other stuff come up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always new things. If we see something that comes up from a distributor that looks really good, really great that we could do, then we put it in.
Yeah.
So always keep an eye out for changes and that on the website.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll be back next month. Get yourselves on that website and get yourselves to King Street Cinema this July.
Yeah. See you later.